Good morning, everybody. Honorable Chief Minister, Samaramaya, Dr. Radhakrishnan, Dr. Rai, distinguished members of the dais. It's an honor to have a chance to present in front of you. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Leaders of the most exciting industry on this planet. When we talked about the keynote speech that I was to give, we thought we should lay out a framework for the discussions that you can have over the next couple of days during the Vision Summit. I'm happy to say that in the messages that you've heard before me, they've covered a lot of the topics that I wanted to cover. Also, if you look at the message that is sent by Honorable Chief Minister Naidu from Andhra Pradesh, it's printed out for you over there. He also covers some of these messages. So it's heartening to see the amount of alignment we have in the messages that we want to deliver. The case that we wanted to make was the case for the high-value manufacturing imperative. First, let's start with the vision. This is the highlights of the vision. This is a big, audacious goal. 12% growth, 25% share of GDP, 100 million jobs. This is an exciting vision that has been laid out for us by the government of India. So let's start by first looking at where we are today. To begin with, manufacturing at 13%, 2013 numbers, is lower than all the other sectors in India. So we have a lot of room to grow. I also put this slide down to show manufacturing share of GDP as compared to our peers. A lot of us have seen the China bar at 32%, the South Korea at 31%. But I know that competition can make for good motivation, so I threw in number 49 over there. It's Pakistan at 14%. You can see Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, 17 and 18%. This is good competition. Let's go after these guys. What will it take to go from where we are today to where the vision wants to take us? If you just do some simple math, going by the forecasts, 2020, everybody believes India will be a 5.6 trillion, 5.7 trillion economy, 25% of that, 1.4 trillion. What we need to do is to go from 260 billion to 1.1 trillion in manufacturing value add in the economy. Big check, audacious check, exciting check. This is a great goal to have. Our contention is that in order to do this, the only way you can add this much value through manufacturing is to go after high-value manufacturing. By high-value manufacturing, what we're saying is add value along all three axes. Economic, profitability, we all want to make money. You have to have a finished product that is worth more than the raw materials you put into it. You have to add value into the ecosystem. You have to add jobs. You have to create a supply chain, expand, share the wealth. It has to create strategic value for the community that you operate in. Things like defense, balance of payments. I know a lot of the people in this room have heard these arguments already, so I'm not going to belabor them a lot. But the point we want to make is high-value manufacturing. Let's focus on high-value manufacturing. Can India do high-value manufacturing? I know a lot of you have heard some skeptics inside and outside the room. Can India do this? We've done it already, twice. In pharma, in auto, you can call us a global powerhouse already. If you look at the millions of employment created, 29 and 19, that's 50 million. 50 million jobs created in these two industries. We've got to do two more. We'll get 100 million. What qualifies applied materials to talk about high-value manufacturing? We've been in this space. Semiconductors, display, solar cells, we have made large differences in this place. And with all humility, you can say we've been reasonably successful. We have been focused on IP. About 15% of our revenue on an annual basis goes into R&D, as you can see from the numbers on the screen there. In India, we've been here for about 12 years. And already you can see we've been focusing on R&D, focusing on capital investment. We have about 5 labs, 25,000 square feet. So we have some experience in this space. Another aspect of our experience is our partnership with the other ecosystems that have already made this journey. Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Applied went there early. Applied was a partner with those governments, with those academic institutions, with our customers there. We participated and partnered in creating the ecosystem. We partnered in R&D and knowledge generation. So we have firsthand experience of what this journey looks like. And based on that experience, the message that we want to give out is there are 3 elements that are required for a successful high-value manufacturing ecosystem. The three of them are to leverage your strengths, strengthen certain enablers, elements that will enable high-value manufacturing, and third is to build an ecosystem. I'll talk very quickly through all of these. To leverage our strengths, I think distinguished gentlemen before me have communicated this better than I can. We know India is a growing economy. We know India has a demographic dividend. I think Ashok was talking about 4D earlier. And we know that India is cost competitive today. These are our strengths. Those numbers actually on the bottom come from the US economic census. This is not India talking about India. This is what other people say. So we know we have these strengths. What do we need to focus on? We need to focus on 5 enablers. Capital availability. The first chart there shows investment in manufacturing. It's going in the wrong direction. We've got to invest more in manufacturing. The bottom chart shows the FDI. We're still behind. This year has been great for FDI. Not our record year, but this year has been good. We got to keep doing good. Right? We got to focus on cost of capital, both on the debt side and on the equity side. R&D intensity. Focus on knowledge generation. If you look at all the countries that have manufacturing as a large percentage of their GDP, 2% of their GDP is in R&D. We're at 0.8%. The government has laid out a goal. They've laid out facilities to take R&D expenditure up. We have got to partner with them. We have got to invest more in R&D. Skill. Again, a topic that you guys are all familiar with. We have a gap in skilled workers. That, again, comparing us to the people to the countries who are manufacturing powerhouses, we have got to get more skilled labor into the workforce. We have got to. We have got to partner with academia. We've got to partner with government. The NSDC has already announced a 500 million people additions into the skilled workforce. 500 million people. They can't do it by themselves. We've got to work with them. We've got to get it executed. Finally, infrastructure. I live in South Bangalore. I work in Workfield. A lot of you live in Bangalore. I don't need to talk more about infrastructure. But if you look at our ranking on all the infrastructure services, rail, road, air, ports, and power, rail is okay, but the rest, we really have to accelerate the infrastructure improvements. Again, the government has already announced a lot of policies, a lot of initiatives in the infrastructure space. The key is to accelerate. Let's accelerate this. Let's get this done. And finally, policy. I think, again, somebody mentioned this earlier today. Ease of doing business, all 4 stages, from starting a business to enforcing a contract. We've got to make this better. Somebody talked earlier about the duty structures. How can we make sure that manufacturing India is competitive? Let's make sure that our tax structure does not make it uncompetitive. Let's accelerate the execution of the policy and processes that we've already outlined. Let's get them done quicker. And finally, if there was one thing that I would want all of you to leave this keynote speech with, is this slide right here. We've got to have government, industry, and academia work together. We cannot have one expecting the other to do their job, and when that happens, I'll do my job. We've got to work together. Industry has to invest, the government has to accelerate their policies, and academia has to accelerate knowledge generation. All of us have to work this together. Electronics and semiconductor manufacturing. Do these elements apply? Yeah, they do. Without capital availability, without R&D intensity, and without infrastructure, where high-value manufacturing in electronics and semiconductor is going to be a long and an arduous task. We have to make this faster. We've got 8 years. 2022, we've got 8 years to get this done. We have been working with our partners as Applied Materials. We've been working with government. We've been working with key partners in the academic industry to sow the seed for an ecosystem. We need this ecosystem for electronics and semiconductor manufacturing. The fabs that are going to come out can attempt to get their viability from the current demand, but we have to have an eye on the future. We have to have knowledge generation that will allow these fabs to be competitive for the markets of the future, for Internet of Things, for wearables. We have to make these fabs competitive. We can only do that through a joint effort, investment in R&D, partnership between government, academia, and industry. Case in point, this country over here, as you can see, 16 to 27% share in marketing. The exact same elements. I encourage everybody, I don't know how many of you have already recognized this country. It's Singapore. You could probably tell from the name of the institutions that we have below. I encourage everybody, all of this data is available on this small tool that some people tell me is getting very popular. It's called Google. All of this is available on there. That country did exactly these things along these elements. And you can see the difference it made to their performance in that 15-year period. Now, if you look at those elements, I encourage all of you to look at those elements, remember those elements, go back to the Make in India website. This is exactly what the government is saying we should do. All the elements are there. What we need to focus on is the partnership. We have to have high-value manufacturing in India, and the only way we can do that is through partnership between government, academia, and industry. When we have that partnership, we can take Make in India, take it from vision to reality. We have to go from rhetoric to action. Thank you very much.